I want to talk about Trey Lance and his accuracy and his completion percentage, because that
Okay.
was this thing that a lot of people, some Niners fans, weren't too worried about it. Some Niners fans were worried about it. But here's the way that I looked at his whole training camp overall, especially looking at his completion percentage in specific.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you look at Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance's completion percentage last training camp, Jimmy Garoppolo completed around 62% of his passes last year in 11 and 11s in training camp, and then Trey Lance completed 61%. So not really that much of a difference, but the huge difference is Jimmy Garoppolo threw 8 interceptions while Trey Lance threw 3 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened this year? Fast forward this year. Trey Lance threw way more than 3 interceptions. There would be some days where Trey Lance would go 4 for 14,
Right.
and there were some days where Trey Lance would go 11 for 16, or he would have really good days. And in Minnesota, he had an 11 for 16 day practice. But the way that I look at the completion percentage, especially the difference between Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo, is that this year, Trey Lance, instead of playing a conservative style of football last year like he did in training camp, where
Right.
if
Yep.
the pocket was collapsing or something like that, trying to hit his running back or trying to play like a Jimmy G style of offense, right?
Yeah.
Where if the pocket is collapsing, Jimmy usually takes a sack in a game, but okay, I'm looking for my check down or I'm looking for my running back. Whereas Trey Lance, especially in this training camp, if the pocket is collapsing, he's rolling to his right. He's rolling
Right.
to his left. He's
Right.
trying to find Brandon Ayuk. If he sees Brandon Ayuk or Debo 20 yards down the field, he's willing to take that throw.
That's
So
right.
the difference between Jimmy Garoppolo is that Jimmy Garoppolo in training camp and in practices, he plays more of a conservative style of football.
Right.
Not saying that he doesn't make
But
mistakes,
he's
he
not
does,
extending plays.
but
He's
he's
not
not
going off
extending
script.
plays. Yep,
He's
he's
not
not
trying to
extending.
push the ball down the
Yep,
field.
he's not
The ball's
willing to
coming out in
take.
2 seconds, and it's either
Yep,
going 10 yards down the field or to the
yep.
running back in the flat. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not willing to take those risks. Whereas
No.
Trey Lance,
Doesn't
especially in
even
this
practice
training,
taking them. Doesn't even practice taking them.
yeah, and he obviously doesn't do it in the games, but
No.
where Trey Lance has taken those risks, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's been throwing interceptions. He hasn't been having a great training camp." And obviously, there would be some days where Trey Lance would struggle. Now you have to look at the context behind that. Now, obviously,
Mhm.
like I said, Trey Lance obviously takes more deep shots. He takes more risks. He
Mhm.
tries to extend plays. But the difference is that their offensive line didn't have the pads on for majority of the practices. So whereas the offensive line would go up against Nick Bosa,
Yeah.
if you don't have pads on, it's hard to cover. It's hard to block your defender. And
Also,
obviously,
Debo was gone for the first week.
Debo was gone for the first couple of days. And obviously, we all can agree that the Niners defensive line has way more depth and is way more talented than the 49ers offensive line. And the 49ers
Right.
offensive line has like 2 rookies on it now.
The
And then
Niners
you have
D
Jake
line
Brenda.
has players that are better than the Niners backup D linemen. Some of them are better than the Niners starting offensive
Yeah.
linemen. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So, I mean, and then going back to the completion percentage, even with the interceptions, it's because he takes more risk. He takes more deep shots. He's not afraid to extend plays. And I was there on day 2 and I was watching
Yeah.
it. There would be one time where he was rolling to his right and he was looking downfield and he missed it. He missed the pass throwing deep. But at the same time, that's something that Jimmy Garoppolo wouldn't try. And
Right.
that's why Jimmy Garoppolo's completion percentage was higher, because that's something that Jimmy Garoppolo just wouldn't try.
Also, the
Neither in a
defense has
game,
changed.
neither in a practice.
Tell me if you agree with me on this. The defense has changed. In the past, they played a lot of off coverage. And when Jimmy faces off coverage, he just throws the quick slants and the quick outs all freaking day. That's what he does. This year, they've been playing like nothing but press man coverage. And the whole idea of that is to take away the quick throws, the slants, and the quick outs, because you have this great pass rush. Take away the quick throws, make the quarterback hold it, hitch, and actually deal with that pass rush. That's what Trey Lance was facing. Without Debo for the first week, it's tough. It's really
Yep.
tough. I think if Jimmy were here, his completion percentage would have been low too.
Yep, especially with that offensive line. I mean, that offensive line, like I'm not too concerned about the offensive line, but at the same time, obviously you're a little bit worried about the offensive line because there's new starters in the offensive line, there's rookies in the offensive line. Aaron Banks is a second-year player in that offensive line. So
Yeah.
obviously I think Kyle Shanahan will figure it out, and as the season goes on, the offensive line should be fine, but there obviously is still a little bit worries because there's a lot of unknowns on the offensive line outside of Trent Williams and McGlinchey. But even McGlinchey, you could say, is kind of an unknown because of his injury and how well he'll come back from it. So,
Right.
I mean, we'll see with the season, but that's the biggest difference between Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo when it comes to completion percentage, because Jimmy Garoppolo plays a more conservative style of football, and if the pocket collapses, he's throwing it to his check down, or he's trying to hit the running back, or either he takes the sack. Whereas Trey Lance, he's rolling to his right, he's trying to extend the play, he's rolling to his left,
Mhm.
and we saw the clips on Twitter. of Trey Lance rolling to his right, hitting Ayuk in the end zone. Those are things Jimmy Garoppolo wouldn't even try. And the
Yeah.
only thing that I remember when Jimmy Garoppolo even tried to make that throw was in Green Bay when he tried to hit George Kittle and he rolled on to his right and it was a miss. I think it was an interception or it was a miss. But that's the biggest difference I would say is because Jimmy plays a more conservative style of football, whereas Trey Lance isn't afraid to take those risks, especially in practice so far. He isn't afraid to take those risks.
Yeah, I mean, Trey's searching for the big play. Jimmy was avoiding it. The way you get the big play in football most of the time is either off of play action, off of an extended play, or a scramble. And Jimmy didn't do any of that stuff. He just kept throwing, the short passes, and sometimes you get long drives, but he wasn't good enough to execute like that. Who is? Prime Peyton Manning, prime Drew Brees, prime Tom Brady, not that many guys. You need to have a big play element. Trey has it. Jimmy doesn't. End of story. Great hair. Great call.
Appreciate it.
You're 14, right? People are trying to
15.
15, baby.
Turned 15 last
15.
week.
Are you just started freshman year?
Started high school, yep.
That's dope. How do you like it so far?
It's all right. I've been only 2 days in, so I mean it's all right.
I hated freshman year. You get there and your voice just changed and there's like 18-year-olds with cars. You're like, go to college. Who needs you? On the same campus as me. Didn't like it, but it's okay. It gets better. All right, Amin.
All right, man. Later.
Wait, I thought you're homeschooled. So you're actually going to like a legit high school
I'm
now?
going to a legit high school now. Yeah.
Do you like it? You having a good time?
So I've only been there for like 2 days. So I mean, I can't really. I don't. It's like a no comment because I haven't really determined if I like it or not. But right now, it's not
You're gonna
bad.
love it. You're gonna freaking love it. I'm
All
juiced, but I don't want you to say what school you go to on the air. But I want to know because I know all these schools. Anyway, I'll talk to you.
All right.
Have a good one.
All right.